I just think this tit for tat thing is really interesting because we do it based on our own value system, right? Like Shan, you were mentioning like are you willing to fix this or fix that at that same hour, right? But if you tell that man you want a bigger home and he has to put in some extra hours, like he's not going to hold the same resentment, right? But that's his value and not yours. So I think that part is interesting. The other thing is like I think some women, obviously not all, get so comfortable no longer tending to her husband's sex drive that it becomes deprioritized. But let that man cheat and it's a whole problem,
Now I
right?
agree with that.
So even if it was consistent at an hour where it wasn't convenient, right? Let's just say they did have that conversation. Let's say he ignored it and that just happens to be the cycle where he's most excited. So what? Right? Like if that man is doing his job and he is protecting you and he's providing for you and he is loving on you, I don't understand what the problem is. Like we talk about duty, like there's pleasure in duty too. Duty is not always this thing that's full of dread, right? I think sometimes when we forget to prioritize our spouse, we get into this zone where it's a nuisance, it's an annoyance. That's a terrible dynamic. And I understand, yes, sleep is important. But you know who else disrupts your sleep? Children. And we don't resent them.
We just so
Ooh,
let me just say this. I think
fight
that
back,
too. I
ladies,
think that
fight back.
people, and I speak on this because I fall in this category.
That's a lot.
I think it depends on this lady's job. Let's just say you have surgery tomorrow morning. Your surgeon's husband wakes her up in the middle of the night and she has to work on you in the morning. I don't want him waking her up. Okay. I need you to let Sally, Dr. Sally, sleep. Because in the morning, Dr. Sally's going to be responsible for my life. For me, I'm responsible for the education of 150 kids. I need my sleep. Okay. So I think that depends solely, it's all individual. Some people don't listen. Some of you guys have those remote fancy jobs. You get time, you're not there all day. Some of you guys don't work long hours. I get it. We're not talking about you.
I was just gonna say it really is about. Go ahead.
I just want to respond real quickly. So Shane, I hear what you're saying, but the people who operate on the least amount of sleep are usually surgeons. That surgeon has 2 9-hour back-to-back surgeries. I don't understand what the difference of her husband waking her up is versus having to be that alert for that amount of time.
So
Right.
that was an example, but that was
No, I understand, but like the same thing can be applied across the board, right? Like when you're in like final season and you're up late grading papers on a continuous, you're still lacking that sleep too, right? I
don't
think that like my whole like part about that is like it's prioritizing your spouse. What we deem important, we're willing to sacrifice sleep over, even if it's for like an elongated period of time. But when it comes to our spouse, we require so much more compassion from their part without reciprocating that compassion in the same way. Like that's all I'm saying is like with any job that is demanding, there is always a period where you're going to have to lack sleep. And that seems to be okay, but let it be your spouse who wants to enjoy your company, and that's the problem.
I think that
Wait, hold on,
I think that
Shan.
you're missing. Let me just say this. I think that you're missing what I'm saying. I never said that it's not okay to wake up in the middle of the night. I'm saying consistently. You understand? Because like that same compassion you are asking me for my partner, I would hope that he would be that compassionate for me. You understand what I'm saying? I want us both to be in a place of where we can work together. Like I want him to be pleased. There's nothing more satisfying than to please your partner. Okay? But I'm just saying, can we work something out so it works for both of us? I don't think that's a lot to ask in a relationship.
Well, that's
But
what I
it's
was going to say.
consistency.
It's about the cooperating, with each other, and just a matter of respect. So if y'all have different, let's say, sleep cycles or what have you, there is a way to work around that, the compromise or whatever. Like, I'm a different person in the summer than I am when I'm working. He gets a whole different wife in the summer because I don't have to worry about getting up at 5:30 in the morning to get ready to drive an hour and some change to work. So in the summer, I'm home. So whenever it's like, tap him on the shoulder, whatever, all right, let's go. That is not an issue because I don't have to worry about sleep. I don't care if I wake up tired. I don't even have to get up out of the bed. You know what I'm saying? But when work starts, our schedule does shift. There is no just waking up at 2:30 in the morning. I'm, all the time. It might happen. But every once in a while, like every once in a while, that's not something that's not something that's consistent. So I think it's just a matter of respecting a level of respect for each other's, time and things. Like, I know at certain times not to bother him, so to speak, if he's doing something. So I just think that both parties can be pleased if everybody is respecting each other's space. And sometimes it may just be like, I'm not in a mood. He might get a starfish. I know he's just trying to get it off. So you know what? Get it off. All right. And I'm going to bed. You know what I'm saying? But he prefers me to be into it. And if he does, then he knows what that's going to look like depending on what time he may ask me. You know what I'm saying? But I just think it's just a matter of being considerate of each other. He needs it, but he also needs to understand what would be the optimal time for him to get the best out of her.
Y'all, why I just found out what a starfish was like the other day.
You haven't been called
you guys do realize that there's a lot of sleepless marriages out here, right?
And trust me, when they doing that at 2:30 in the morning, it's not even about trying to be no long drawn out. It really isn't. It's over before you know it. When
you know what's weird about this whole scenario?
They just need to get it off to go to sleep.
Out here,
you know what's weird about this whole scenario is usually sex is the thing that end all arguments. For that to create a new argument is super duper strange to me. Like, I don't know, let's get, DJ Envy, wife was saying she never came in 10 years and she didn't enjoy sex. That's what it kind of sounds like she don't enjoy it. Maybe they need to go to a sex counselor or something so she can actually get that. Like,
I wonder if it's one of those things where, how women will kind of like, I don't want to blame women, but maybe men do this too. I don't know. But just couples in general, they'll just expect like this to just get ironed out eventually. Like, they expect someone to just behave properly. So like, yeah, I'm mad that you keep waking me up. So like, just stop waking me up. Instead of just having the conversation, looking at each other's schedules. And of course, no one doesn't, like, we don't want to make it seem like we have to schedule work. But at the same time, hubby, I know that this is like, you need this. And what can we do to both figure it out so that I'm getting my sleep and you're getting, you're getting satisfied. Let's figure it out. And sometimes if this doesn't work, plan for the obstacles too, for the nights where, let's say this isn't going to work, plan for that obstacle and make a plan and have a strategy for that. You know what I mean? It's like, as husband and wife, I don't know why you're not coming together like teammates and saying, hey, all right, let's figure this out, because this isn't a problem. You know what I mean? I don't know. I
agree. I agree with that, Coach K.
So they had that conversation, and he said, I'm not waking you up. You waking me up. And she said, is that a form of gaslighting? So they had that conversation, and he told her he doesn't know what she's talking about.
Maybe he's saying she's so fine, like you waking me up. Like I turn around and I see
that's precisely what he's saying.
There's a sleep in there.
He's waking up with a wood. That's what's happening.
Some granny panties. That's what it is.
Especially like when you sleep on your side and toot the cheek up. That is.
She better go get that grandma gal.
And the big thing about it is she's not saying he's waking her up. The problem is that she can't go back to sleep. So every day she's probably having like 2-3 hours of sleep. That is a problem.
Especially if you have insomnia. You be mad when somebody pick you up and then wake you up and you just went to sleep and it took you a pill to get to sleep.
She probably should drink coffee.
They got to talk about that, because I honestly think from just the wording, I'm assuming everyone, that she sounds resentful, and you're not going to go to sleep when you're pissed that he just woke you up and you're aggravated and you're sleeping next to this person that just woke you up from your sleep. It's like, of course you're not going to fall back asleep. Again, it's like, well, first of all, I would suggest, is she doing everything she can? Because it sounds like sleep is important for everyone. Okay, I'm trying to qualify everything here so people don't take me out of context. If sleep is important, which it is, your sleep hygiene better be, on par, and talk about this and figure it out. Now, the whole, I'm not waking you up, you're waking me up, that's weird. I don't know about that. Like, if my husband has a Samsung watch and he has a sleep app that will like detect if he snores and things like that, maybe they can figure it out. I don't know, but it's like, man, there's so many resources and things. Just communicate and figure it out. Like, you guys got this. Like, it's not a big deal. I don't know. I'm just confused.
It sounds like they're kind of set in their ways, and they've just come to a cross point where they feel that the other person should just know. Like, you should just be considerate. You should just understand, like, this time is inconvenient for me. And I don't recall from the video if they've had this kind of conversation before, or if it ever was brought up. But it just sounds to me that there isn't any other time frame or any other outlets for them to spend any intimate time, in that capacity. It seems like they both must be getting home at some time very tired, and then things just evolve, right? She probably goes to sleep early. He probably rolls into bed a little bit later, and it just happens to be like that because everybody's schedule is not the same.
And what if they have kids? That's a whole nother.
And that's another component too. There's just a lot of in that video that was missing to kind of get you to kind of ground you in a song. Like, are they a young couple? Are they a much older couple? Do they have kids? Is it just one kid? Is it no kids? Right? Like it would be shameful if they didn't have no kids.
Oh, that would be.
and you were complaining about it in that capacity. You couldn't come together and work it out and figure something out. Yeah, that's heading to a slippery slope. But I do agree with Coach K. She does seem a bit resentful, and I think if that same behavior continues, she might start not denying access, and then now you have a sexless marriage. And then if they haven't figured it out, just trying to get on board with each other, trying to reconcile after would be even harder.